The spiritual successor to the legendary Walther WA2000, this semi-auto bullpup has that same industrial, no-nonsense aesthetic that the Germans are just so good at pulling off. Aries got full licensing from Otto Repa to recreate the SOC SLR. What's going on? Vincent here from the land of the North. Today we're taking a look at the SOC SLR. Now, we only imported a couple units, so I do apologize if by the time you watch this video we're already sold out. It's an expensive gun that's definitely more of a niche collector's piece, so we want to properly gauge interest before we import more of them. Let us know in the comments if you're interested and we'll definitely get more. By the way, after months of waiting on Shoguns, we finally got some Kingsman pistols in stock. Back to the SLR. For better or for worse, this gun is an AEG. Now, the real SLR is semi-automatic, not to mention that pulling this little charging handle back every single shot would be a little awkward. So they were left with either electric or gas. Now, electric is generally a little more consistent, and let's be honest, I don't see too many people using one of these on the field. A more fun to shoot gas blowback, I think, would have been the better call. Let's talk ergonomics. Almost entirely constructed of CNC aluminum, this thing is heavy. 6.28 kilograms worth of heavy to be exact. For way of reference, the G&G Raider weighs in at 2.06 kilograms, making this one effectively 3 times the weight. However, being a bullpup with the magazine and a lot of that weight behind the trigger, it's still surprisingly decently balanced. The balance point is right around the trigger guard where it should be. Just think how front heavy an AR platform with an inner barrel this long would be. The barrel comes in at 670 millimeters with an inner diameter of 6.03. There are removable butt pads for all your butt configurations and an adjustable cheek riser that has a curiously strong spring underneath. Seriously, it's like chin suspension. Even at its lowest point, it's still higher than the top rail, so make sure that your scope has a sufficiently tall riser. The bipod is top mounted like the WA2000 and slides onto the rail from the back. You can configure it to fold either forward or backwards, and you can lock it exactly where you want it. And it's ribbed, for no one's pleasure in particular. You see, I don't actually think anyone would grab it there. To fold it down, you pull outwards and swing the bipod down. If you grab the bipod down there, you're actually just twisting the bipod and you don't actually pull it outwards. You're much better off grabbing from the pivot point and folding. The legs are spring-loaded and can be finely tuned as well. Same story goes for the monopod in the pistol grip. All the springs in this gun seem to be almost aggressively stiff. I don't know, maybe it's a German thing? Moving on to the pistol grip, it's contoured and is quite comfy. It's very similar in feel to an AR grip. It is a tad on the smaller side though and doesn't seem to belong on such an otherwise bulky gun. My favorite aesthetic feature is this giant handguard, and it's a love it or hate it kind of deal. Me personally, it reminds me of the FAMAS SV, which in my books is a good thing. In front of the trigger guard is a switch to turn on the laser. The laser is located underneath the barrel behind this little plastic cap. Don't get me started on how useless lasers are, especially on a sniper rifle, but it is there if you're into that sort of thing. The safety is ambidextrous and has a very nice notchy click to it. The bolt release, as well as the bolt handle, is on the left side of the gun only. Pulling back on the bolt reveals the hop-up. The hop-up itself is a standard Aries rotary design. In fact, a lot of the internals are pretty standard AEG fare. You really get the feeling that a lot of what you're paying for is for the shell and for the trademarks. But let me tell you, this shell feels great. There's no flex at all anywhere in the gun, and the CNC milling is top notch. To build a good sniper rifle, you need a solid foundation, and this one is excellent. The magazine release is behind the magwell, and though it feels a little odd at first, it works quite well. The mag itself is a plastic unit that holds 40 rounds and is a mid-cap. The way it goes into the gun is very similar to an AK. You notch the front into the magwell, then you pivot the mag back into the gun. The flash hider is humongous and is a solid chunk of metal. Sadly, it's not threaded on and is a proprietary fitment. Aren't you a little tired of that word, Aries? Contrary to other reviews I've seen, installing a battery is not actually that tedious. Yes, you do need a flathead screwdriver or a coin to remove the screw, but the bipod and the flash hider can stay on. Remove the screw, then you can slide the rail forward and up. Inside is a decent amount of room, but the way it's configured, we could only fit in a 7.4. Our 11 ones were a little too long, though I'm sure it's possible. Some room is taken up with the laser battery box, which takes 2 AAAs. The box is simple and clean, with a big picture of the gun in case you forget. It's molded cardboard protection with plastic bags wrapping the parts. Along with the gun, you get the bipod, magazine, tube-style speed loader, unjamming rod, and rarely seen included QD sling mounts. The manual is short but properly done with good graphics. You get a full exploded view on the back, which I think every airsoft gun should have. Let's take a look at that trigger. Though it has Allen screws, it's sadly not adjustable. The pull itself is very light and smooth. 3 millimeters later, and you hit a little stop, and the brake is right after that. It doesn't feel realistic, but it's very precise. There's not really a reset, but rather that feeling you get when you release a mouse click. You can fire as soon as you feel that click. It's fast and it's good, but I don't know, it's just not the same as a good old reset. Shooting point 2, the SLR chronos at roughly 417 feet per second. Deviation isn't bad for a stock AEG, so let's see how it shoots. Loaded up with Crytax, I set up a paper target. It's not the longest range, but still, this will reveal inconsistencies. 10 shots in, let's take a look. The scope wasn't zeroed, so we're looking for grouping, not bullseye. A bulk of the shots were close enough to call it a human error, but we do see a few flyers. And there you have it, the Aries SOC SLR. Overall, a very decent rifle out of the box, but still requires a little bit of tuning before it's competitive with bolt actions. So what do you guys think? Yay or nay? Let us know. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one.